Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you probably aware, the UK is in trouble. All right, for months, the headlines have all sounded the same. The pound is falling, cost is rising, and the government is basically scrambling for answers. For the first time, all right, it's not just inflation or a bad budget. The country, once the financial heart of the world, is teetering so close to the edge that whispers of an IMF bailout have started again. Now, to most people, the IMF is something that, helps struggling countries like, let's say, like Haiti or like Argentina, Pakistan, maybe Turkey, but not Britain. But here we are, half a century after the 1976 bailout that humiliated Prime Minister James Callaghan. The UK again is facing echoes of the same story. The pound has plunged. Bond markets are in chaos, and the Bank of England is running out of tricks. Interest rates are sky high. Businesses are folding, and mortgages have doubled. Right? That sounds like a terrible situation going on right now. Okay, because businesses are failing, tax revenues are shrinking, and while spending has exploded, as probably many of you have guessed, why are they spending so much money? What is going on over there? Well, let's see. The government of England has proclaimed massive commitment to supporting the Ukrainian war effort. Okay, we're talking billions of dollars in military aids, weapon shipment, refugee support. Also, the UK is taking in a bunch of Ukrainian refugees. When you take all these people, they're probably families. You have to house them. You got to give them money to eat. You got to clothe them. So you basically have to take care of a whole family when you start taking in these people, like all these refugees. Okay, and this is being done voluntarily, by the way, guys. All right. So now, if I'm the government of UK, if I'm Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, maybe I would say to myself, hey, you know what, guys? Maybe we need to cut some corners here. Maybe we shouldn't spend so much money. Maybe let's find ways to, balance this budget. We may have to cut some things from some places and so on and so forth. Right. So you think this is what he would be saying? Let's go ahead and take a listen.
And the time before for those terrible losses. I do think that this week we can really bear down on Russian oil and gas. Huge steps forward this week already. I think there's further we can do on capability, particularly long-term, long-range capability, and of course the vital work the coalition are willing when it comes to the security guarantees that are necessary. So we've got really important business to go through with the coalition willing today, but it's very good to be able to welcome you back. It is very good that we are frequently meeting like this so that we can share the challenges and work them through, and we stand as we've always stood as your closest supporter and ally, and stand with you and all the people of Ukraine. Thank you.
So basically, the Prime Minister is saying we're not stopping. We're just going to keep going. Even though all the things I've just listed with the economy, people are striking, the bond market, you're spending too much money. You just heard the Prime Minister. We're just going to stay committed to Ukraine, and we're going to keep basically funding them. All right. And he's not alone. All right. Some other UK politicians are saying, we must stand with Ukraine no matter the cost, no matter the cost. Others argue that the cost is now coming home fast. Through energy bills. You just heard them. Oh, we're going to need to go after Russian oil and gas. Well, your energy bills are going up now. Debt repayments and a collapsing standard of living. Behind the scenes, officials from the Treasury and the IMF are reportedly in quiet talks. No one wants to call it a bailout, at least not yet. They're kind of like sitting on it right now. Oh, we're not calling it a bailout. Okay. But the shape is one. The shape of one is really emerging right now. Okay, we're talking about emergency loans, strict spending control, and maybe even limits on defense budgets. For the first time in decades, Britain might have to accept foreign oversight of its own economic policy. The symbolism couldn't be heavier. This is the same country that once dictated the terms of the empire. Okay, now the country who told other countries what to do, who's held the banks and everything, not that same country, okay, is asking for help to stabilize its currency. I mean, this is complete lunacy. You would think that, okay, maybe we need to do something differently here. Maybe we need to change some things, like you would do, like anyone, any rational person. Okay, now this country is that, the UK would which played a major role in build NATO, is now struggling to fund its share. They can't even pay their own share in NATO. Okay. And the public, well, the public have lost trust. I mean, can you blame them? After years of austerity, Brexit fallout, pandemic costs, and now war inflation, the patience is gone. The people has had enough. Food banks are busier than ever. Public workers striking again. Homeowners defaulting. Many are asking, how can we keep funding foreign wars when our economy is collapsing? Listen, it's not just the people of England. In my country as well, United States, the same is happening. Europe, all over Europe, energy costs, inflation, and so on. It's like, why are we doing this? Why we keep doing this? All right. And if you go, okay, look, maybe, evil Putin is bad. We need to go ahead and fund Ukraine because Ukraine's democracy, whatever you want to call that. Maybe we need to defend democracy, and that's why we need to, fund Ukraine. Well, then, okay, fine. But then I have to ask, well, how's that going? Right. So if we're spending that kind of money in Ukraine, if we're giving them all this money, how is that going? How is the return on our investment? Let's take a look. Let's see how that's going. Maybe it's going great. Maybe they're doing a great job over there. Let's go ahead and see what's happening with taxpayer money.
Energy and justice ministers have resigned over a bribery scandal. They were named in an investigation into corruption in the energy sector, and President Zelensky called for them to go. The European Union has made fighting corruption a condition of Ukraine joining the bloc in the future.
Safes and briefcases stuffed with cash, seized as part of an alleged $100 million bribery scheme. Ukraine's anti-corruption investigators are looking into the role that Justice Minister Herman Hadoshenko, seen here on the left in archive footage, may have played in the scheme when he was Ukraine's energy minister. The conspirators allegedly took kickbacks during the construction of protective structures around energy facilities to shield them from Russian air attacks. The alleged mastermind, businessman Timur Mindish, is a former associate of President Volodymyr Zelensky. Mindish is thought to have fled the country. Prosecutors have detained 5 people and identified 7 suspects, including energy ministry employees. Ukraine's government is sensitive to accusations of corruption, fearing they could undermine international support in its war against Russia. President Zelensky called on both the justice and energy ministers to resign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Like, he has nothing to do with this. This is embarrassing. Okay. This is a big money laundering operation. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think this is employed to kind of like force this guy Zelensky out of office. Okay. And these people should be ashamed of themselves. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I think there was another video where the guy had a solid gold toilet bowl. I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay. As the IMF planes now England needs a bailout. So this is where the money is going. Now the IMF plane now just landed in Heathrow. Okay, now the rest of the world, we're all watching. Because if London falls into bailout territory, again, it just won't be just a British story. It'll shake confidence in the Western economies all across the board. This crisis isn't just about numbers or budget. It's about pride, power, and priorities. Britain faces a brutal choice. One, you could either tighten your belt under the IMF or risk a full-blown financial collapse while funding another nation's war. And then, you know what, guys, to be honest, I think they've decided. I think they decided that they want to go ahead and have a full-blown financial collapse. That's the sword that it appears that they decide to fall on. Either way, history seems to be repeating itself. And sooner or later, the bill is going to come due. And it looks like the bill is coming due. But anyway, that is all for today, guys. If you like and enjoy this video, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. That would really help my channel. And I will see you soon.